Today we're going to talk about subtracting integers. Again, this is standard 7.3, model and solve problems involving computation with integers. How are adding and subtracting integers related? In our last lesson we talked about how to add positive and negative numbers. So you can use what we've learned about in the last lesson to help you in today's lesson. You can change any subtraction problem to an addition problem by adding the opposite. So if we look at the examples below, the first one is 3 minus 4. We can change that subtraction problem to an addition problem by changing the sign to addition and then taking the opposite of that number, which is 4. The opposite is negative 4. So now we have 3 plus negative 4. And if you think about the strategies that we've learned in the previous lesson, you could apply any of those to solve this problem. I'm going to think of a number line starting at 0 and going positive 3. So if I'm here, and I'm going to add negative 4, I'm going to go to the left 4 spots. I'm going to end up at negative 1 for my answer. 3 minus 12. Again, we're going to turn it into an addition problem and take the opposite of this number. So the opposite of positive 12 is negative 12. So now we have 3 plus negative 12, which equals negative 9. For the last one, it is 5 minus negative 4. Change it to an addition problem. Take the opposite of this number. The opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. So 5 plus 4 equals 9. This example also shows you that two negatives here are going to always equal a positive. Okay, I'd like you to try these two on your own. So doing the subtraction, but adding its opposite. We can use counters for subtraction as well. Remember, positive is yellow and negative is red. So for this example, 4 plus negative 2, we're going to start with 4 yellow positive counters, and we're going to add 2 negative counters, the red ones. So altogether we have 6 counters. Step number 2 is to remove any pairs. So if you look at the second box, we have a positive and a negative matched together, positive and a negative matched together. So we remove those two. That leaves us with 2 positive counters. So our answer is 2, and it is positive 2 because we're left with the positive counters. You can also use a number line. So using a number line to find negative 3 minus 1. Remember to always start at 0. And our first number is negative 3, so we're going to move to the left 3 units. And then our second number is to subtract 1, so we continue to the left for 1 more unit, and we land at negative 4 for our answer. You may come across a problem that has more than 2 integers, and you're going to apply the same strategies that we've talked about with there being only 2 integers, turning it into an addition problem. So we're going to start off with this problem, negative 7 minus negative 12 minus 14. So the first step here says to add the opposite of negative 12. So we take this one step at a time. Negative 7 plus the opposite of negative 12, which is positive 12, minus 14. So if we solve this problem here, negative 7 plus 12, we're going to be left with positive 5. and then we bring down the 14. So now we have 5 minus 14. Again, we're going to add the opposite of 14 and change it to an addition problem. So 5 plus, because we're changing it to addition, the opposite of positive 14, which is negative 14. So now our problem is 5 plus negative 14. And if you think about a number line, and you have 0 in the middle, if you start at positive 5, you start at 0, and your first number is positive 5, so we're going to move there. And then our next number that we're adding is negative 14, so we're going to go to the left 14 spaces, and we're going to end up at negative 9. That's our answer. Now you're going to do these 3 problems on your own. I would like you to use the strategies that we've talked about. So whether you show your work through counters, through a number line, or finding the opposite, you have 3 problems. So I'd like you to use all 3 ways. So all 3 ways. So for number 1, you could do the counters. For number 2, the number line. And number 3, you could find the opposite.